This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 689 for January 4th, 2021. Stabbing-related questions.
Straight or serrated?
Pointy end first.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello. Why did I go Cockney again?
Hey man, I'm not
It's in your blood.
Yeah, that's
It's really not. If that's in my blood, I got a problem because I'm from the north, mate.
Yeah, and the Nymph.
Hey.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers, early access, behind the scenes, exclusive audio. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked to each other. So there's an extra long outcast there. If you are not a patron, that's the exclusive episode every week, and it is uncensored, and it's kind of, we talk about all of the other stuff.
It's a
talk about
jambalaya.
movies and music and YouTube videos and Legos and whatever else.
Yeah. Everything
So
nerd.
go sign up. Yeah. Go sign up for that. For the $5 a month tier is the recommended one, and it is per month, not per episode. Mr. Moon, what have you been playing these past 2 weeks?
Why are we starting with me again? Oh, wait.
I'll go first. I don't
Because I
care.
like watching you suffer.
Yeah, of course you do. Okay, so I've got a little bit of things to talk about here. So, last time we recorded, unfortunately at that point in time, I had not beat Assassin's Creed Valhalla yet. I will get to that. I'm going to talk about something else first. Right after
I have something to say about that game, too.
Yes. We'll get there. So when we finished recording, I was like, took my phone, checked the alerts. It's like, oh, these games are leaving Game Pass soon, and one of them was the Untitled Goose game,
Ah.
and it was leaving Game Pass in 2 days.
I can sense where this is going.
You also know because you saw my Twitter and you liked the tweet that was like, oh, hey, by the way, I totally got full gamer score on Untitled Goose Game.
Right.
Because I restarted and finished that game in 2 days.
Nice.
Jeez.
It's like a 4-hour game, dude. It's not that bad.
I was
Yeah.
thinking more of the achievement requirements.
The only ones that are tough in that are the speedrun. Everything else is you just get it by doing it generally. Like the speedrun ones are super easy when you beat the game because you can just hit start and then reset, and then it'll take you back to the start and give you 7 minutes to do the level. It's really, really easy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that game is just as fun, as stupid as ever. And Boston, I don't know how you do not have your child playing this game already.
We talked about this briefly on the show. She got really worried because I wasn't helping the goose back to his home. She thought the pond the goose starts in at the beginning of the game was its home, and she was genuinely really upset that I was going further away from its home as opposed to bringing it back to where it lives.
Okay.
So it's one of those like 4-year-old things where it's like, I don't know why you're literally crying right now, but I will bring the goose back to its home. Yay, everybody won. All right, we're done with this.
Maybe explain that you have to go get a bell. There's a bell that you have to go and get. Which
She wasn't really... She
at that time, she probably wasn't understanding of that.
She really loves animals, and she's like so into the idea of like parent animals and kid animals. So like the idea of this lone goose being away from its home was just like a catastrophe.
Well, the good news is you can play co-op now.
Yeah, that
So-
would be...
There's a parent
That'd be
and a
something.
child animal waiting for you.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying. I know you own this game on some platform or another.
I have it somewhere, yeah.
And I also know that you have multiple controllers for every platform that you have because you're not an idiot.
It's true. That's right.
So
That's right.
I'm just saying, there's a co-op version now. Go play it.
The math adds up.
But yeah, it's Untitled Goose Game. It's charming. It's fun. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's it was a good little break from me from the grind of trying to get to the end of Valhalla, which, spoiler alert, I only did 2 days ago. That's 3 weeks later, folks.
Woof.
Yes. So, again, I'll get to Valhalla. That's last on my list for reasons. I played a bit more Apex Legends. Again, it's fine. It's fun. It's great. I love Apex Legends. The season is rolling along at its usual pace, and at the end, I will be grinding for that too, because that's what I do. Apparently, is I play a little bit and a lot at the end. But
the cycle continues.
However, I played so much Dead by Daylight over this break, you would not believe it.
Oh,
because suddenly everybody wants to play Dead by Daylight.
Well,
something new come out, or?
No, well, since I last played it, 2 new killers have come out, which I had no idea about. So that's fun. Last time I played it, Pyramid Head had just came out, and since then we've got a new killer who does something, and I don't know what it is, and another new killer who is basically Quato from Total Recall.
Okay.
Which is kind of creepy if you don't like scary little naked babies chasing you around.
Yeah, that'd be fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, my partner's Siege crew and Apex crew just decided they wanted to broaden their horizons, and Dead by Daylight is part of Game Pass right now, so...
And your spidey senses were tingling. It's like, wait, someone's thinking about Dead by Daylight.
Pretty much, yeah. And so we were doing the usual... We are the... my partner and I are the horror game Sherpas, where we were just like, okay, these are you go this person because you're new beginning, and it also helps that one of the people we play with is a Boston when it comes to horror games, and literally as soon as the heartbeat starts, there is screams, and it's hilarious every time.
Loud crying and wailing.
Yes, and no.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yes. Yeah. It's the Transformers 1 scene where he's running away from the Decepticons. Yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, they felt like playing something different, and Dead by Daylight is a 4-stack rather than a 3-stack like Apex is. And they needed a 4th, and I may or may not have put several hours into that game, so
right,
I know what I'm doing, and it's better to play with someone than a rando, because you never know what you're gonna get. Randos are like a box of chocolates. You literally never know what you're going to get.
That's right.
So we just... It's like every day I finished work and it's like, we're going to play Dead by Daylight. Do you want to play some Dead by Daylight? It's like, sure. Last time I played it, I just hit the cap for the 1 million blood points. So it's like, okay, now I have to spend all of these blood points so I can continue to earn more blood points. So yeah, I just sunk a bunch of blood points into people I don't care about, because who cares at this point?
What else are you gonna do?
I mean, the only thing I have to do right now is figure out how to get good at playing the witch, the nurse, who is the hardest killer to play and also one of the base game killers who has achievements. So yeah, I'm like 4 achievements away from getting that game like 1K retailed, which is stupid of me, if I'm completely honest. It's stupid.
Right.
But, it was the break. It was a not calming time. Everything is still chaotic, and spoiler alert, the transition into 2021 didn't change anything. It's still the same hellhole world that we live in.
What?
So it was good to have some comfort food. And Dead by Daylight, when you've become so numb inside that the killers mean nothing to you anymore, is a good comfort food game. And it's fun. And if you're interested in playing, maybe, hit me up on my platform of choice. Oh, it does have crossplay now, though.
Okay.
So if you know what people's in-game handles are, you can now play cross-platform with people. So
nice.
That's handy as hell.
Is it still on Game Pass?
Yes.
Nice.
I don't know how long it's going to continue to be on Game Pass, but at the moment it's still on there at the very least. And you don't have to worry about buying the 70 bajillion DLCs either.
Oh, nice.
Because, you can just play. Okay, what else? Dead by Daylight. Playing Metro 2033, which obviously Boston will not be putting in the show notes because the only reason I'm mentioning it here is as a gentle reminder to folks, that is our current Game Club game.
Whoops.
Yep. I had a
have it installed
that you hadn't started this yet.
Yeah. Of course, I purchased it on my PS5 like the day before it went free on GOG. And it's like, cool. Yep. that checks out. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was only like $20, so I'm not like out $120 or anything, but
yeah, I think my partner picked up the collection, like that one and the sequel, when they got the remasters for the Xbox One, when it was like $6 for both of them. So that's literally just been sitting on my waiting to install list, and now I have a reason.
Right.
Boston, start playing it now. This game is so much longer than you have any idea about.
I am behind, yes. I meant to start it during the break, and yeah.
I'll be honest, I started it thinking I'll chip away at it, like I'll do an hour or two every couple of days. And then I spent 4 days playing nothing but that.
Oh boy, okay.
Because it's kind of great. But also it's kind of a horror game, so...
Okay.
Good choices all around for Boston.
I'm really killing it on this one. All right.
But yes, Metro 2033. It's current Game Club. Obviously not going to say a lot about it here because we have a whole dedicated episode for that.
Yep.
Also played some Gungeon. Again, gentle reminder for people coming back. It feels like a year has passed since I spoke to you last, but this is our current Wii roguelike game. Yep. So that'll start hitting you guys' Patreon streams this week, I believe.
Yep.
And it will follow shortly after to the regular streams. And my two final games. Number one, Screw You Boston.
Now that's fair. I don't know what it's about, but that's fair.
You'll know what it's about real soon because I have a journey to take you on here. I had odd gamer scores.
Oh no.
I had a 2.
I do too because of Carrion.
But I got the full 1K on Carrion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I didn't get the full 1K on?
No.
Moonlighter, you SOB.
Oh no.
Because that's got a bunch of 12s all over the place.
Why would... Developers, stop. Just stop.
So...
It's doing its job, though, because it's annoying Moon, and he's going to go back and get another achievement to even it out.
So let me tell you about the 25 hours of Moonlighter I played over this break.
Oh, no.
Because I thought, I'll just get a couple of these achievements, and then accidentally tick myself over with 2 achievements, back to a 2 again. Yeah, you laugh. You made this happen to me, you punk.
Go to hell, Moonlighter.
So, for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I like my achievements. I like my gamer score. If you're listening to the show at this point and you don't know this about me, hi, my name is Moon.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I've got 499,000 gamer score. I'd really like to make it a nice even 500.
But you can't just go to like 500,005.
Yeah. Or 500,002, as the case may have ended up being.
Right.
So I went on this handy little site called trueachievements.com and then filtered my achievements by the odd achievements and started scrolling down the list of ones I haven't won, thinking, what game did I play recently that had odd achievements? Why can't I remember this? Because usually I'm pretty good about it. And it's like, okay, there's Halo Reach, which doesn't matter because it's DLC achievements, so I don't care. There's Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Warfighter, which I got 0 achievements on. And wait, I know that symbol. What's that symbol? Why does that game picture look familiar to me? And then I clicked it open. It was like, oh, it's Moonlighter. I hate you, Boston, so much because I forgot all about that. So I started playing a whole bunch of Moonlighter to try and get that tally back to the 0 or the 5. I do that 500,000. It's not a milestone you hit every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm defending myself, by the way, audio listeners, because Nimp is shaking his head vigorously every time I talk about this effort.
Because my achievements have sat with a 4 at the end of it for I can't even tell you how long. And you know what? I just don't think about it.
Yeah. Well, you don't, I do. It's my brainworm of choice.
Yeah,
I know. We talked about it before the show started.
Yes, we did. But yes, I did end up getting the full 500,000 with a cool
Congratulations.
achievement. Thank you. With a cool achievement in my final game. Which, by the way, if you want to hear me talk about Moonlighter, go listen to We Roguelike It, because we talked about that for like 4 weeks on that show. So
Yeah, it's already out of the public
it's in
feed.
the archives, so you can go listen to it on the main feed. So yeah, the final the one that took me over to the 500,000 was in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which 109 hours into the game,
Jesus,
I am missing one achievement because it's bugged.
Okay. No.
It's specifically a world event where the quest is bugged. It's confirmed as bugged, and it's the only world event I have left to do. I have
just gotta wait for a patch.
Yep, I have literally done everything else in that game.
I wanted to play more of this over the break because I thought, like, man, this would be a great time to just make a ton of progress. And while I was playing it, my daughter started asking a lot of stabbing related questions, and I was like, all right, cool, I guess I'm done playing this game in front of my kid now. I gotta find some other way to play it. Okay. Great.
So I know we were all playing it before we went our separate ways for the break. How much progression did you guys make in the story?
0.
So I have Siegfried back. Sigrid, whatever,
Sigurd,
your brother.
yes.
I have Sigurd. There we go. I have him back, and I only have 2 places to go on the second map, the second normal map,
Oh,
Okay.
and that's it.
Okay. So you're getting there. You're getting toward the end.
That was my thing too, because I had the same thought as Boston of, I'm going to play so much of this over the break, and barely got to it, and then I was like, everyone else is going to beat it.
Well, I traded this problem for another one, so
Yeah.
I'm no better.
Is that one another immortal question?
Well, potentially.
Okay, so let's talk about Valhalla. Obviously, I'm going to try and keep my spoilers to as low as possible in here, but if I accidentally let something slip, I apologize in advance. Boston, this is the most intensive lore-based game that I have played since Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah. I like the sound of that.
It goes some places.
Okay.
I will say, this new trilogy that we've got, my recommendation remains the same. If you want a good character, you play 2. Odyssey. If you want a good overall game, you play Origins. And if you want to go real deep into the AC lore, you play this one.
Yeah, if you have the brain worms like we do.
Yes. Because this thing goes some places. Like, I'm talking Inception levels of places, and in multiple different meanings of the whole Inception context.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't talk about anything at all with regards.
Well, it's been a real long time since they've dealt with any of that stuff. Because, like, what were the future Google games? Was that Black Flag?
Black Flag was one, and I think maybe Rogue might have been one as well.
I didn't play Rogue. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that Syndicate basically had 0 of the Out of the Animus stuff.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. But yeah, the Black Flag. I liked in Black Flag. It's not a spoiler anymore, but in Black Flag, in future Google, if you explored a whole bunch of stuff, they basically had a bunch of like movie posters and trailers and stuff for the Templars version of what happened in previous Assassin's Creed games. They were like making movies out of stuff in the Animus, and that stuff was really good.
Okay, so this goes deep into that kind of track.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
But it goes deep into the Isu track as well.
I like it.
Well, I can't say who's back, I can't say who's not back, I can't say who, whatever. Friend of the show, Rob, beat this game as well, so we spent some time discussing, like, we literally spent an hour discussing
Dissecting
the end of this game, to give you an idea.
Right.
That video you get for completing all of the rifts, totally worth it, especially when put into context with a sequence that you'll see later in the game.
Good. I'm glad it's worth it, because, like, was Assassin's Creed 2 was the first one where you're like, all right, that's sort of, I get what you're going for, but, like, maybe that wasn't quite the biggest payoff.
Oh, Assassin's Creed 2 was the time that they admitted that kayfabe was dead and started talking to you, the player. Yeah. And then this Assassin's Creed is like, yeah, kayfabe is dead, but also it's kind of alive.
Right.
Like, it's really weird. I wish I could say some more about this. I can't, because I will just destroy certain moments in the game for you. We came up with a very interesting term, myself and Rob, which is out-agonist.
Okay.
Which is specifically the antagonist you play as, or the protagonist you play as, I should say, who's not in the animus. So Eivor is the antagonist, the protagonist. The Order is the antagonist, and the outtagonist is the person you play as outside of the animus.
Oh, okay.
So Desmond was an outtagonist because he was the was the protagonist outside of the animus.
Lila is an antagonist.
Yes. Confirmed. End of a trilogy at the end of this game.
Okay, interesting.
Just saying. I'm not going to say nothing else there. Right. There is some interesting things revolving around the outtagonist. Which is why that term came up, because we couldn't say protagonist, we couldn't say antagonist. We was like, how do we describe the person you play as who's not inside the machine?
Well, and it's nice to see them drawing more firm lines at the end of some of these games, other than like, yeah, but the solar flare and future stuff, I might get resolved in the next. I don't know. Who knows?
The solar flare gets resolved at the end of this game.
Thank God. Nice. After 15 games. Thank God.
Yeah, that was the thing too. My wife looked it up on how many games they're on now, and she's like, wait, they have this many out already? And I'm like, yeah, and I start running through the list, and she's like, Jesus. I'm like, yeah, they stopped putting numbers behind them after 2.
Yeah. 2 was a trilogy in itself.
But yes, I'm excited to, I gotta play more of this.
You do, because I need to talk to somebody who's crazy like I am. Because
2021 spoiler cast.
Yes,
there you go.
December of 2021 at the rate he's going.
Yeah, let's be honest about it.
But you have those same worms when it comes to these games that I do.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Rob doesn't. So the fact that I had an hour-long conversation with someone who doesn't share these brainworms should tell you where the conversation...
Some stuff going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and things happen, and storyline happens, and I'm pretty sure I can confirm one thing or another thing, and person... I'm being so vague, and I hate the fact that I have to be so vague, because it's...
I appreciate it, because I think most people would be like, yeah, here's all the dumb stuff that happens in the ending, and I'll be like, no, please, my future Google.
Yeah, you should go... I don't even care if you do all of the areas, just go beat the main story as quickly as
that's my focus, because like I don't really care about the platinum in this game, because like it would be it like you said, it'd be about 110 hours. And I would rather just get the ending done. Like they introduced like the season 1's event, the Wintertide, and I was just like, no. Absolutely not. You cannot do this in this game. I can't.
But it's
this
really
will
cool.
break my spirit.
It's genuinely really cool. Like, you go back to Ravensthorpe and they've got like a fighting tournament and archery contest.
Everything's covered in snow and set up for the Yule season, and I wish I could keep my village looking like that.
Yes.
But
so good. Yes, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is incredible. Please, somebody else finish it soon.
I'm hoping to make progress on it this week, now that the holidays are over.
Because things need to be discussed. Like, I want to say 3 words, and that will just destroy everything and make you want to play it even more.
I appreciate your restraint.
But yes, that's all I've been playing. Then tell me about your JRPGs with weird names.
Oh, we'll get to those.
I know you usually save them for last.
I know. First, I'll start up and finish my Assassin's Creed stuff. Like I said, I'd gotten the brother back. I had primarily not played as much because I started running into a ton of bugs with this game all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I've had a couple of those too.
Yeah, where the first one that I had run into was I completed a puzzle in a well, and it did its whole screenshot of, oh, this is what the puzzle looks like now, and blah, blah, blah. You can enter this area. And my character could not detach from the mechanism at all.
Oh, interesting.
So I had to fast travel out of that, which jacked up the camera. The camera was like super tied up on my character, which I didn't really notice at first until I got into combat, and then my lock-on wasn't working. And then I wasn't dealing damage to anything.
Yep.
So, great. So I had to save, restart. That fixed it, so that wasn't such a big deal. Yeah. I found out, and I don't know if you guys have you guys attacked chickens at all by accident?
Oh, yeah, they totally Zelda.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
You attack one chicken, all chickens have a vendetta against you now.
Oh,
And it's kind of funny. It's worse. Well, at the beginning, it was worse for me because of my setup. I set things on fire.
Yep.
So I had flaming chickens.
On fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
And it also didn't help that I had the perk that, or the ability, whatever, that when you kill something that's on fire, it stays on fire to let everything else catch on fire. Did
you desync by any chance because you killed too many civilians? Because I've done that a couple of times with that perk setup where it's just like,
I've managed to kill a civilian. With all this, and this is actually my next gripe with the game right now. Every time I go into a new area that I'm invited to, that whole area is always hostile to me, and it's annoying as hell.
Mm-hmm. I hate it.
To the point that I am walking with the lord of this area, and his guards are attacking me while he's talking to me because they see me as a hostile.
That's definitely a bug, by the way, because I know who you're talking about, and I walked through that entire area with no issues.
Yeah, so I had to kill them, which somehow I managed to kill a civilian, which I got the warning saying you'll be desynced or whatever for civilian casualties. Whatever, I don't care. But that's happened quite a lot. I've managed to at least kill one in a big area, because I get that message every once in a while, but I haven't actually desynced yet.
Yeah, I get the fire propagates fire thing, and then I've got 9 dead bodies all on fire around me and civilians running in terror through it. And I've desynced twice because so many civilians have set themselves on fire, and it's my fault.
Well, and that skill is so useful, though, because I've got the two-handed battle axe that when you do a crit, your weapon catches on fire. And I'm still using the shield, where if you do a perfect block, it sets your weapons on fire. I have the arrows that set things on fire and explode twice now. So there's I am the god of fire in this game now. Right. Everything is on fire, which was really helpful in a boss fight that I had to do, which was in a dark area, because
you see everything.
The boss, you basically have like a brazier in the middle of this one room, and the boss will hide in the shadows, and when they go into the shadows, your auto lock shuts off. You can't use it on them. Doesn't matter if they're on fire because you can see them.
Yep, right. I did the exact same thing with that exact same boss fight.
So this boss is trying to hide, and they're constantly on fire, so I just run up and keep hitting them, to the point that when it goes into phase 2 of this boss fight, I only had to hit them once. They caught on fire, did fire damage, and killed them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. Exact same thing with me. My bug, by the way, is every time I load the game, I'm drunk.
Yep, I have that one too. That was my next one.
Yep.
Great.
Which Rob also has as well, so I'm pretty sure that might be associated with one specific world event that you may or may not have done. Poison meat. Yep. I did it as soon as I did that specific world event. Every time I load the game, I'm drunk.
Which I have found that, because it's like to the point where your character will stumble a little bit and then they have to stop. I have found that if you aim with your bow, you can just walk through that normally until it wears off.
I call my horse and then ride my horse down the street like a drunken idiot.
Dude, I can't do that. Was giving me like real bad. The way the camera's twisting and everything's moving with my big screen. No, so that would be a hell of a ride in VR, though. Oh my god. I'm trying to think. I had like a bunch of notes. Still, the Yule event I really like. Like I said, I wish my village could stay that way. If I could purchase that, I would, because it just looks super awesome with all the snow and the decorations and stuff like that. But that is, I'm pretty sure that's about. Oh, one gripe that I have game mechanic wise is how certain enemies and bosses can dodge you no problem. And you can't break their combo at all, but they can break your combo.
Yeah,
and some of their hitboxes, and some of their hitboxes are such BS that they'll do the Dark Souls thing of just 180 lock on you, and next thing you know, you're getting hit, even though you were nowhere near them. So, besides all that, though, still having a lot of fun with the game.
Yeah,
it's just little odds and ends stuff. It's an open world game, so there's going to be all kinds of jank with it. But the story's finally starting to pick up again, because there was like a drought.
It goes through a big lull for a while.
Yeah.
And then, the bit where you're up to, like specifically that boss that you're talking about, and getting Sigurd back, and the consequences of that whole... Because that's the lull, is when you're trying to get him back. The consequences...
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, the consequences of that is what kind of dragged me forwards, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to the end. I just need to see how this resolves.
Well, because it always does this thing that I kind of hate, where it feels like it's padding it out, where, hey, you have to go take this castle or this area or whatever. But before you do that, there's these 9 other things that you need to do.
Right.
That are nowhere near where you're currently at, and they're nowhere near each other.
These have these 3 missions each.
So I get to that point, and I'm like, screw this. I don't want to do this anymore. I will jump into this castle by myself and take it. All I have to do is scale 2 walls, and I'll be where I need to be.
That's literally the funny thing about it to me, is like they do this whole build up the army thing, when literally 10 minutes ago I was in that castle killing everybody just so I could get the treasure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, this is
I already cleared it out. Let's go.
I just did it by myself.
Yeah.
Right.
So next game that I played a lot of is Genshin Impact. Just after the podcast, they released their 1.2 update, which opened up the mountain area, the Dragon Spine, and they've had an event going for the past 2 weeks now.
Ooh.
Which has been real easy and real fun to play. The only thing that sucks about this Dragon Spire area is that it is a cold area with snow. So you have the freezing effect, where your character is constantly gaining cold, and if this bar fills up, you start taking damage. Not really an issue if you've always got a healer on you, and you can set anything on fire, and that'll start going down rapidly.
Okay.
So it's not a big thing. It's just kind of annoying sometimes. The funniest thing that I've had is that Genshin Impact players up until this point, who have been playing super hardcore, like past the point where I'm at, aren't used to having a challenge in this game. They are used to walking up with their level 90 characters, which I have a couple of now, and just wiping the floor with a boss. The last portion of this event, you get an upgraded version of a boss that you have to fight, and you cannot just walk up to it and beat on it.
Oh, nice.
Basically, you walk into this arena, it has a weak point that you can attack, and after a while, it will start to do this AoE attack for the entire arena, and you have to break this rock, to proc a shield, everyone has to hide in the shield, or as it starts doing massive amounts of damage and you die.
Okay.
So, my first time playing this, everyone's in here with all their fire characters. They're all ready to go. I just jump into a random group, and they go and attack it. They're doing, like, minimal damage to this thing, and we all get wiped. And they all get pissed and leave, which I thought was kind of funny. It turns out what's happening is that there's phases in this boss fight. So 3 times or 3 rounds, it will do this AoE, and you have to hide in a shield, and then it won't be able to do it for a while, so then you can attack its weak point, and then you can drop it, and then you can start doing serious damage to it. And it was just funny watching all of these people complaining about how they can't just walk in with their characters and take it out, that it's too difficult and all that. It's like, it's really not hard at all.
Just use a mechanic.
Yeah, it's the lightest form of strategy we have had to do in this game, and you guys are all pissed because you can't just walk in with your min-maxed characters that you've been using forever and just wipe the floor with the boss. You have to stop and think for a second.
Learn to
How dare they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was funny that everyone's... And then you get people say, well, I put all this money into this game and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not... This game isn't pay to win.
Yeah, that's a you problem, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get good.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's 2 weapons that you get out of this area. Both of them are pretty cool. One of them is a regular one-handed sword that the event is around. You get a little bit more backstory into the Traveler, your main character, where
cool.
You're digging more into how is it that you can use the elements, the element powers without a vision. Excuse me. Which in this game, for you to be able to use quote-unquote magic, you have to have an item called a vision, which develops somehow, time of need, or you happen to do something and your vision happens to appear to you. This allows you to use a certain element's magic or a certain element. Your character so far can use 2 different, was it earth and wind, and they don't have a vision in this world because they're a traveler. So you meet up with this character and you start doing experiments to try to figure out, okay, how can you do this? Why can you do this? And you start getting more story into that. You don't get any concrete answers yet, but you find out that your character is comparably normal, which is a good thing. So, yeah. The next game that I have been playing, let me scroll down because I have a ton of notes this week. Immortals Fenyx Rising.
Me too.
Well, you can talk mostly about it because I barely touched this game. I bought this for my son, and it's not because I don't want to play this. I just can't right now.
What, you mean you don't want to add another 100-hour open world adventure game into your life?
Don't need another Breath of the Wild game in my life right now with an open world. Yeah. I bought this for my game. So I bought this for my son, not my game. But I bought it on my PlayStation account. That way he can play it on his account. So I own it. I've only played like maybe an hour or 2. Like I'm still in the beginning area, just exploring and messing around. But he's gotten way into it. Like he's explored everything except for the last area of the game right now.
I'll talk more about it during my segment.
I was gonna say it seems
a lot more than that.
It seems really fun, and all I have to really say about it is that it feels like Fable in tone and comedy.
Yes, for good and for bad.
Yeah, where the first dungeon that you go into, Zeus has assumed that your character is dead, and credits roll.
Yep. And like all of the credits in the game are courtesy of Zeus. So like direction, writing, comedy, lightning, godliness.
Question: are the Greeks British?
Some of them are.
I was gonna say I haven't played enough of it. The first couple that I have they sound like normal English accent. Not like specifically.
Your main character sounds Greek, which is
great.
Okay.
So there's maybe some of it in there, but I haven't hit that yet.
Yeah.
The next game that I have very little to talk about right now because I didn't get a whole lot into it is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
So apparently you're just in the market for open world games over this break.
Apparently. Really fun game. I'm only, again, like 2 or 3 hours into this, and I want to play tons of this game.
And there's tons there to play, thankfully.
But I have tons of other games that I need to play before the end of January hits. But so far, I have 5 characters. I've unlocked 2 Divine Beasts, which is really cool. This is the Muso Hyrule Warrior type game.
Right, the prequel to Breath of the Wild.
Correct. So you go to the Zora domain first. Or you can actually choose whichever one you want to go to. It doesn't matter. But that's story-wise, that's the way I'm going. Got there. You go through and you fight in the Zora domain. And once you beat that area, you get your new character, Mifa, if I remember correctly. The guardian for that area. You get her and you can fight with her. But then after you beat that level, you unlock the guardian beast.
Okay.
And so you get to play as this massive elephant.
Awesome.
That walks through an area, and it felt a lot like Zone of the Enders, where you have a lot of stuff coming at you, and you can auto-lock on a ton of stuff and just literally blow up sides of a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Let's
pretty awesome. The next one that I did was with the Gorons in Death Mountain. I got to play as the Gecko. Once I beat that, go through its thing. That one was all right, not as good as the Elephant. And so then I'll be moving on to the next area. But in between these fights, you have like these... You're getting like these items and stuff that you're picking up from the enemies that automatically go into your inventory. And you can upgrade these little areas throughout the map so that you can get shops, or you can upgrade, hey, this character now has an extra heart, or they have this extra ability that they can do now, or this adds to their attack. So I'm filling out all that stuff as well as I'm playing it. It's a pretty sweet game. I really like it so far.
Nice.
But it's going to take a ton of time to play this game.
Yeah.
That I don't have right now. Let me see. And the last game that I have this week is Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, a tiny little...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was you were keeping the we're all dads of one form or another. I'm the cat dad. So we're all dads of one form or another. So, you know, we have to limit our gaming time. And, you know, the 4-hour gamers are the best. So clearly all of the ones in them just named are all the 4 to 10 hour experiences.
Yeah, a little Saturday
They can
afternoon
be.
game. Yeah.
Hey, several people on our Discord have already beaten this on their second run. I am just lagging behind.
Yeah.
So I will say, starting out, this game is broke as hell. And they're... Yeah.
Like The Witcher 3 before it.
I think a lot worse than that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I am playing on a PS4 Pro. This is currently version 1.06. And I'm going to say some bad stuff, and then I'm going to get to the good stuff. So I have had an autosave corrupt.
Great.
Which really, it isn't an issue for me because it does autosave. It's got like 10 autosave slots, and your manual.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So I deleted that one, and it just went right back into... It was like my autosave 3 corrupted. Deleted that, and then it went... After a while, it went back, and I have all 10 of them again, or 11, however many.
Okay.
Constantly running into issues where the game isn't able to fully load in the environment. So
yeah, we were talking about this on Pup yesterday, and Musim was having a ton of problems with that too, where it's like, I can't get into this area, like the geometry won't let me pass. After a little bit of time, it loads, and it's just like an open area.
Yeah. I actually have the opposite issue of... So there's a bunch of pop-in. It's not like the entire game's popping in, because I've been able to drive through like vast amounts of the city and not have any issues. But I find that if you go super fast through a pretty condensed area, all of a sudden there's not buildings in front of you, or there's just like a wall of gray, and you're not sure if that's actually a wall or a building, or if that's just it didn't load this section of the game yet. 9 times out of 10 you drive right through there and the rest of the game's already loaded behind it.
Okay.
I've had the issue where I'm driving on a highway, and next thing you know, I'm driving on air, and I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to fall through a world map or not, and I don't. Then the rest of the level loads in, and I can keep driving. I've had issues where the game has crashed on me about 5 times, and I've played 23 hours of this game so far, and it's like hard crash to dashboard, send your report in kind of crash.
Oh, okay.
Load times are just as long as anything else. It's surprisingly, it's shorter than Assassin's Creed. I've timed it.
Oh, okay.
I've had a lot of time to time things this week too. And then you just get like random things where it's like characters who are talking to you. They're, you know, your options for that character are still on your screen, and you can't select anything. So you have to walk away. That way you break that contact. That way you can start picking stuff up. And just random odds and ends, stuff like that. A lot of it I can overlook because there are very few open world games like this that I've played that aren't broke. It's just this is broke.
Yeah, especially at launch. Like they're all kind of... Valhalla's having its own fair share of... You loading your game and your character's drunk for a good long time. Like they all have issues like this.
But I will say though that the way this is broken, there's a lot of things I can overlook. The way that this has been broken is kind of unexcusable for them being able to release it.
Right.
So, with that said,
section, folks.
Yeah.
With that said, though, I still really enjoy playing this game. I still look forward to playing this game.
Okay.
I have done all kinds of dumb things in this game that have been wildly entertaining to me. Mostly I am running around with a sword, a handgun, and an assault rifle. That's all I've got so far. I just recently figured out, because the game doesn't do a great... it doesn't tell you in great detail on how to go about upgrading things. So I just recently found out that not only can I make craft stuff, I can upgrade anything that I have with crafting components. So it's like, all right, cool. Because I knew you could do it. I just wasn't sure how you do it. Looked it up, figured it out. It's like, all right, cool. So now I'm starting to upgrade my weapons and my armor and all this fun stuff. The armor you get in this game, my God, you will have points where you are picking up everything and you have nothing that's better than what you already have.
Right.
The biggest issue I had with that is that for the longest time, my character's armor consisted of basically stripper's attire.
Okay.
Because that was the best defense legendary, with all the mods and stuff on it that I had.
RPGs.
Yeah, and my wife sees me playing this game. She's fine with it, but she asked the question, this is really how you want to play this game?
Right. Is this a choice you're making?
Yeah, and I'm like, no. And I pull up my inventory and show her. No, I have like these 25 different things that, yes, I could equip on her, but they're all like 10 stats lower than what her stripper attire is. So until I find something better, this is my stripper assassin.
Right. This is what I'm wearing, man.
Yeah. Eventually I did get something cooler, and everything, she looks normal now. Whatever. It is what it is. Especially now that I understand how the upgrading works, I can actually put my character into better equipment or make it better if I find a piece that I like.
I see.
So
gotcha.
I'm not constantly swapping things in and out like I have been. There is just so much to do in this game. I had a mission where I had to kill plastic flamingos in people's yards by running them over with a car. I was in the middle of a mission where I was driving shotgun with someone who was bringing me to a mission point, noticed somebody was robbing somebody else. I load up a quick hack onto the robber, killed him in the street, and got my bounty reward from the police as we just kept driving, listening to smooth jazz to the mission point.
Right.
I've had missions where it's a lot of, like with Assassin's Creed or like with Ghost of Tsushima, where you can kind of pick your entry point where, hey, there's this door here. If you have your character spec'd out and body, you can rip that door open and just walk through.
Oh, cool.
If you don't, hey, there's this other door on the side of the building where if you have your your tech points up to a certain point, you can hack that door and open it. If not, hey, just climb up, these crates in the back and go in through the roof, because you can't get in any other way.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways that you can spec your character out, and a lot of different ways that you can go about doing objectives and stuff, which is really awesome. I currently have my character spec'd out a lot towards intelligence and tech. So I'm doing a lot of hacking and stuff and a lot of stealth with the cool stat. It's a lot of me running into a room, chopping people up with a katana, and that's the end.
Great.
And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm also been finding that if I'm crouched down in stealth and I kill people with my hacking abilities, that also counts towards stealth. So I can, without walking into a room, as long as I can physically see them, I can hack them and just keep moving on and hacking people and just killing them left and right. And I'm not even in the room yet.
Right.
So there's a lot of cool different ways that you can go about playing this game. There's a lot of bars to fill that fill as you use them. Yeah. So you have your base attributes, which is like body, intelligence, cool, reflex. Yeah, cool is apparently stealth. Reflex and technology, I think it was, or tech or whatever. Those are your main attributes. And there's another one that I don't have a thing for some reason. I'm guessing that's story related. Of any of those, you click on that and it brings you into another area. So let's talk about like tech. you click on that, and that brings up crafting or engineering. There's another tab that you can click on. In each of those tabs, there's usually 2 for each attribute. There's a bunch of skills that you can unlock as you get skill points that do certain things. Like when you pick up junk, it will automatically destroy the junk and give you the components for crafting. So you go through and you pick up everything, and it's just automatically breaking that down into components, which is bringing up your crafting skill, which means that you're unlocking more things for crafting.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then your odds and ends stuff is like you keep putting stuff into reflex, you get better with pistols, or you start doing better damage, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different skills and things going on that you can unlock, and a lot of it can be unlocked by using it. And then you get the perks and you put the perk points in. So this goes deep.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you can do. A lot of it that I'm probably going to forget to touch because my notes are long and I'm not going to read all of them to you guys right now. But on my last note with this game is that there are a lot of, I guess, like cameos or references to other games in this game or other things in general. Everyone pretty much knows that you can get the bike from Akira in here.
Okay.
I recently ran into GLaDOS in this game.
Okay.
I won't say how, when, or why, but GLaDOS is in this game. And I am pretty sure that I found the cul-de-sac from San Andreas Grand Theft Auto in here.
Okay.
And I only think there's nothing that pops up and says, hey, this is from San Andreas. It's just, I saw a cul-de-sac, the houses are lined up properly, and there's a dumpster in there. That's where I think I remember there being an actual dumpster. And I drove into this cul-de-sac, and a bunch of gang members showed up and started shooting up my car.
Oh, okay.
This leads me to believe that this is that cul-de-sac.
You should have leaned out the window and yelled Grove Street for life, and then you would have been fine.
That's right.
Maybe, but there was too much shooting going on. Like, literally, I drove into this cul-de-sac, and like 10 guys showed up and just started lighting my car up, so I drove out of there as fast as I could. But with all the issues that this game currently has, I would right now say don't buy this game. Because even people, I know even on like the Tiltcast, with their beefy ass computers, they are having issues running this game. That there are certain things that they've had to turn down and mess with, and certain things and files that they've had to edit to get the game to run better on their really beefy computers. I can't tell anyone that you should get this right now.
Right.
Maybe down the road once they've patched it quite a bit, yeah.
Wait for the Game of the Year edition, it'll have all the DLC.
Yeah. But right now, for me, even with all the issues that I am having with it, I am still really enjoying playing this game.
Nice.
Talk to me next week when my saves get wiped. I don't know.
Right.
But,
yeah.
So, but that's where I'm at with this game. There's a lot of good that they were doing, and a lot of it comes through, but the game is just messed up and should not have been released. So that's all I've been playing. Boston?
All right, I have a whole ton of games here that I'm going to blow through the majority of them on because there's a lot of them and I have to go to the bathroom. So, Destiny 2, the raid group and I finally cleared Deepstone Crypt. We took the previous weeks off because the raid night fell on Christmas, and that was not a great idea to be like, all right, Merry Christmas, everyone. We're going to go raid for a couple hours. So that raid is really great. I think it's one of the best ones from both games. I think it's short. It's not super difficult. The mechanics are really easy to comprehend and kind of take a while to get all the stuff to line up correctly. I think it's really great. If you're playing Destiny 2, highly recommend giving it a shot. Don't be afraid of the raids. They're not that hard. And this one is pretty straightforward to learn and execute. Stellaris, I got the trophy I was trying to go for. Last time I talked about it, I accidentally glassed 2 worlds that I needed to capture for this trophy. So I started a brand new game, lucked into a world that had that Fallen Empire in it, and as luck would have it, all 4 of the planets that I needed to colonize for this trophy fell outside of their borders. So I just put a thing on each one of those planets, sent colony ships over there, colonized all 4 of them at the same time, got a trophy, closed out, and now I'm going for the final trophy before the platinum, which is... It has me waiting like 400 years for this thing to start, so it's a lot of like... Stellaris is running in the background doing literally nothing, and I'm just waiting for this thing to happen that the game is saying, yeah, I mean, they're on their way. And I'm like, okay, I've captured the entire galaxy. I don't... Just waiting for this to happen. So, and any moment now. Fall Guys Season 3 started. Contrary to Season 2,
okay,
every single one of the games that has been introduced in Season 3 are all really good. They introduced, I think, 7, so it's a ton in this season. All of them are really, really good. The one that I like the most is you're sliding down an icy hill and jumping through these sort of like rotating rings that have
to rack up the points.
Yeah, like rack up the points in the... that one is really, really fun. You basically race down to the bottom, try and jump through as many rings as you can. It spawns you back at the top. You get to 15 points. That one's a lot of fun. It kind of takes some of the ideas that they've had in other seasons, like the Hoopsie Daisy and Hoopsie Legends, and kind of changes it in a way that's really fun. I've been playing a lot of it because Fall Guys is really good, but I have other things I'm playing right now, so I don't need to hit like rank 40 or whatever, because I'll just hop in there a little bit and...
You sure?
The good and bad thing about Fall Guys is I don't feel that pull to max out my rank, because for me, the stuff that's in the battle pass, or whatever you want to call it, is good, but I don't see anything at like rank 37 or rank 40 or anything where I was like, I have to get that. Like, that looks so cool that I have to dedicate my time to get that. You look through it and you're like, that's cool. Like, there's a lot of cool colors and patterns and titles and like a victory dance and stuff like that. But like, I don't need any of it. Like, I need some of the stuff in some of the other games.
My son was showing me a bunch of stuff that he was super geeked out about. But same thing for me, where I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad you're happy. You know?
Yeah, like every couple of weeks I'll play a couple of matches and be like, yeah, man, Fall Guys, awesome, great. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
You know,
every
like
time I play him, my son's like, oh, you're only rank 9? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I got other things to play, kid.
Yeah.
Dicey Dungeons came out on Switch. It works really, really well on controller on there. If you haven't played Dicey Dungeons, you really should. It's very good. And I haven't played a ton of it. I mostly picked it up just to say, like, all right, does this work on this controller? It does. Okay, cool. Now I can play a little bit of it here and there, because each run doesn't take, especially at the beginning, each run doesn't take a whole bunch of time. I haven't tried the touchscreen on that. I should do that. But it works really well with the controller. Dicey Dungeons is really great. You should go check it out. We already talked about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Moon, you asked me, what game did I play over the break that I don't like? I have a shocking one for you.
Okay. Hold on. Is it a new release?
You want to try and guess?
Yeah, sure. Is it a new release?
No.
Is it an old release?
Not super old. It's come out, I think it came out last year.
Okay. And it's a game you thought you would like when you didn't?
Yes. It's a game I have avoided because I thought it would be a problem.
It's not. I'm guessing it's not a Picross game of some kind.
No, because I run to those like moth to a flame.
It's not the remake of Puzzle Arcade.
No, God, I wish.
Well, it's got to be a games as a service game, because we all know you don't like that.
It's not one. It's not, shockingly.
We cut off well, we knew it wasn't called The Sea because that's one we talked about pre.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that one yet.
I have no idea.
It's Civilization 6.
Oh,
I don't think this is a very good game. So,
I think I have that thing on like 2 different. I know I've got it on PC through Epic Games, and I think I got it through like PlayStation or something too.
Yeah, my wife has been playing it with some of her coworkers. They've been doing like the chess by mail version. And she's like, I'm really enjoying this. Like, oh, it's on sale it was on sale during the holiday sale for like $13 on PlayStation. So she's like, well, I'm gonna buy it over here so I can play it in the living room. You and I should buy it together. That way we can play multiplayer. And I was like, you know what? Sure. I will give Civilization a shot. She knows how to play it, so she can teach me all the esoteric rules and whatnot. I do like playing it with my wife a lot. We have a lot of fun. We put ourselves on the same team, us against the world, etc., etc. Like, that stuff is really fun.
is it Sean Bean? You don't like Sean Bean, do you?
Is he in this? I don't know. I have like a laundry list of issues. Number one, this is my first Civilization game. I'm sure somebody is already typing a tweet being like, well, you made the mistake. Civ 3, you just need a Windows 95 VM. It's the best one because I get it. This one was on PS4. So like I can get it running. There's so much interface dumbness in this game. There's like, the thing that's really interesting is, since the whole thing's fully turn-based, there's a lot of turns where like I'll spend like 10 minutes doing 50 different things on my map and, with the skill trees and all that stuff. And my wife finished in like 30 seconds because, her civilization is just doing its thing. When it's your turn to go, why doesn't the controller vibrate? Like, I'm over here doom scrolling, like, and everybody is waiting on me, and I'm just like, oh, look at these cat videos. Oh, cool. Like, there's this basic thing of like, why doesn't the controller vibrate when you start a turn? That just seems like
ding dong.
Yeah, just like, hey, because like we're both of our TVs don't have the sound on at the same time because we would just be like 10 seconds off with the same music track that's playing.
Dude, you could do a soundtrack in a round like when you were in like primary school.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Fully drive me crazy. Like, why doesn't they don't use the touchpad at all? So like, why doesn't pushing that bring you to your like capital city? Like, there's no button for that. I was playing one game, and I think it was Montezuma was like, how dare you do this thing? It pops up and it's fully voiced, and there's like a polygonal guy. He's like, how dare you run your kingdom like this? And it says Montezuma denounces you. And like, my only option was goodbye. And I was like, okay, like, what did I do that made you mad? So like, oh right, there's like a relationship management area. Let me fire that up. Let me find out why he's upset. I go in. It has 3 reasons why he's happy with me, and they all have like a numerical value. It's like +2, +1, +0.5, and one that's he's unhappy with me, and it's like -8. Each one of those lines just says reason unknown. Well, how? And furthermore, it has no indication of like how I get more information about those or how I unlock any relationship info or whatever. It's just like, yeah, man, this dude is like real mad at you for some sort of reason. See you next turn. It's just like,
so it's real life.
Yeah, and it's just like, there's such a reliance on, and I know you can configure this, but we're trying to play with like the base level rules. There's such a reliance on fighting in the early ages, like as you're trying to stave off barbarians and stuff. That's really frustrating because I feel like you're doing that for like the first 250 turns, which gets pretty old. And then like, I keep having, this is a trigger for me. I understand if this is like not a big problem for anybody, but all these other civilizations always have missionaries coming into my area and like converting a bunch of my towns to their religion. That's really upsetting. I don't like that. I wish that wasn't in the game. That's like the one thing you can't turn off, and it's like a real pain to stop that from happening. And it's one of those things where I'm playing it and I was like, I can see where people would really enjoy this. And I think if there was like, if this death by 1,000 cuts wasn't happening, I think I'd really enjoy everything is going, because the turn-based is cool, and like some of the upgrade stuff is neat, and I like launch a rocket to the moon. Like there's some cool stuff happening there. Oh, so I played a single-player game just to see like how it works, and got to the end of like 500 turns, I think it was, or 750, and the whole map was at peace. Everybody was happy. We'd all made agreements with each other, but
you all disabled and disposed your nukes.
That's right. We got the MGS5 ending. Like it got patched in there. I didn't lead on like points or science or religion or any of that stuff by the end, but like I didn't get defeated. So at the end, I get the cutscene where like my empire's in shambles, and it's like, and they returned back to dust from whence they came, and written out of the history books. It's like, no, I just didn't win. No one like destroyed me with a nuke or anything. This isn't CNC. Like it just, there's something about the whole thing that is absolutely not clicking with me. And it's on one hand a bummer, and on the other hand relieving, because now I don't have to go for all of these trophies in Civ 6. But that led my wife and I to play a multiplayer game in Stellaris, which works really well, which I was very surprised about, because it makes sense in Civ 6. It's a turn-based game. Everybody gets a time. Like we turn off the time counter or the turn counter, so like you can just have an infinite amount of time to do your turn. Yeah. We were concerned about it in Stellaris because that's a real-time game, but that works really well, and I was really surprised at how well that worked. But yeah, Civ 6 is not doing it for me in a way that is pretty surprising. But I will continue to play it with my wife because we're having fun playing it together. But definitely not going to be playing it single player at all.
You're going to be your wife's troubleshooter for Stellaris now?
Yeah, I was going through and teaching her how to play Stellaris, and it's a lot of like, all right, here's this menu. There's about 400 numbers on the screen. I promise you don't have to worry about literally any of it except for this one little line about like, do your people in your empire have enough food? Yes? Okay, cool. Close out that menu. It's like a spreadsheet. So that's been a lot of fun, and it's been interesting to see Stellaris through somebody's eyes who's playing it to begin with, because they're like, there's a lot here. It's like, yes, there's a whole hell of a lot here, and we'll introduce you to it as slowly as possible. And so far, so good.
Cool.
Okay. Super Meat Boy Forever.
I forgot about this.
This came out on PC, and the Epic Games Store was like, hey man, we keep bothering you. You have a $10 gift card you got from something. You got to spend it before the end of the year. Like, this thing is going to expire. It's like, all right, Super Meat Boy Forever. I've been very curious about this game. It's $20. Now it's 10. That seems like a great price to check it out. If you haven't kept up on Super Meat Boy Forever, it's not really a sequel to Super Meat Boy, because Team Meat doesn't really exist anymore. Edmund is off working in the Isaac salt mines for yet another DLC that turned out to be way too big.
Yep. You got your tapeworm, and so did I. Phrasing.
Yes. That's I'm not going to expand on that. We both have worms. So I thought, I'm curious about this game. I think it's an interesting idea. It is a level-based, procedurally generated auto runner Meat Boy game. And I know for like three of those terms, people are tapping out, and I get it. This is not the sequel to Meat Boy that I think a lot of people are looking for if they haven't been paying attention to it. But it works pretty well. Your only two controls. I haven't finished the first world because I really ran out of patience with this level I was playing earlier today, which is very much a Meat Boy thing. Your only controls really are jump and then dive, and your double jump will essentially just kind of shoot you forward. It's a cool idea. I think it's interesting. I like auto runners. The Bit Trip Runner series are really great. It's very much in the same vein as that is, but with the kind of extra screw you that some of the Meat Boy levels can have, where it's you're jumping over each one of these saw blades that are in the level, but the very last one is going to jump at the last second, and you just got to you get right into it. I think, to be fair, I think the auto runner, because it's an auto runner, you lose what I think is one of the strongest things about Super Meat Boy, which was the super tight level design that was, especially the single screen levels of Super Meat Boy. You lose that, obviously, because it's an auto runner, and there has to be some level of kind of readability to the levels that you're playing. I don't think it's the worst game on the planet, like a lot of people that haven't played the game feel it is. But I think if you're looking for another Meat Boy, if you're looking to relive those Xbox Live Arcade Meat Boy days, this really isn't going to do it for you. But if you want to play another high quality auto runner, if you want to play something that is kind of a cool experiment with the IP, I think this is something you should check out. The opposite end of the spectrum, I've been playing a lot of Good Pizza, Great Pizza. I've been playing this on mobile. It also came in on Switch, but I'm not playing that version. I probably would have picked it up there instead. This is a really casual and relaxing game where you're making pizzas for customers. And my initial concern was that it was going to be like Cook Serve Delicious, where you have you're managing 4 or 5 different customers that all want 2 dishes per people and drinks and fries and all this stuff. It's absolutely not like that. It's one customer comes in with one order, and there's a time limit, but it's kind of not that big of a deal. So if you take a little bit of extra time, that's fine. They just get a little bit more unhappy, and they'll be like, I wish that was faster. And then the next person comes in. It is free. Go check it out. It's very relaxing. It has been my play it in bed while listening to Friends at the Table game.
What was it called again?
Good Pizza, Great Pizza.
I've seen a couple of people talking about this, and everybody seems to have great things to say about it.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's literally just you're making pizza orders, and you're upgrading the ingredients you have in your oven, and how much the quality of your pizza and stuff like that. But all that stuff is kind of standard in games like this at this point, so it almost goes without saying. That's now I've got onions, now I've got bell peppers, now I've got sausage. That's kind of the extent of what this game is, and it's very relaxing and very chill. I've been having a lot of fun with it. My final game, Immortals Fenyx Rising. I traded one super violent open world Ubisoft game for a T-rated, sort of focused for kids Ubisoft open world game.
Yeah, cartoon-rated violence.
Yeah, it's number one. Its intro is abysmally long. It is Zeus and God, who's the other one that I've just forgotten the name of? The one that's getting his liver eaten all the time.
Yeah, I don't remember.
The two of them having this big long intro, and there's a big fight, and it's not great. Just get through it. The great part about it is the game, the quote unquote tutorial is probably about an hour long, and it's this rapid fire of here's Heracles bracers, here's the wings of Daedalus. Here is like you get like 5 or 6 powers. It's like you can now double jump. Now you can float. Now you can lift everything. Now you can do like, and in that first hour, they give you all your powers, and then it just literally dumps you out in the world and says like, hey, you can't go to this volcano with the evil dude in the middle of it. That's it. Do whatever the hell you want. That's really exciting. We've been talking a lot about how Genshin Impact is Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Waifu, if you want to call it that. Immortals Fenyx Rising.
Before.
Yeah.
Immortals Fenyx Rising is literally a 1-for-1 copy of Breath of the Wild.
Is it Hades of the Wild?
Yeah. So, it's interesting because, like, it's kind of name dropping all these gods, but in like a Cliff's Notes sort of way. The divisive thing about the game is Zeus and the other god. It's going to drive me crazy that I don't remember his name. They are like running a narration on everything you're doing during the game. It's not great. It's fine. It's not terrible, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like I get it. Like you're trying to do this like Bastion thing where it's like
Prometheus.
Prometheus, thank you. It's Zeus
I just had to look it up too because I thought it was Prometheus, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah, Zeus and Prometheus are, they're like running a commentary like Bastion style on your playthrough. And it's fine, like the jokes are fine, but they're very clearly focused for like teens. And that's fine too. Like not everything needs to be the darkest, the grittiest, like F-bombs everywhere, but it's like the jokes in it aren't funny enough for as often as they pop up, but they don't pop up so often that you're like, "Oh my god, just let me go play the game. Like, I don't care."
And that's actually one of the better, for me so far, just still being in the early parts. They're talking while you're still running around doing things. You're not having to stop to listen to them talk. It's just, you're still climbing a mountain or whatever, and Zeus is talking about how short you are.
Yeah, and it's like, it's really great. It has the wings that you use to float like the glider in Breath of the Wild. It has shrines like the Breath of the Wild shrines, which are one puzzle with an optional chest in it where you do something difficult. And you do enough shrines and you get a stamina upgrade. And staminas are, like, when you start grabbing on something, it's a little curved thing with a bunch of pips on it. It has a double jump. You're swimming everywhere, and that takes... The thing is, there's no slipping on rocks in the rain, which is great, and there's no weapon degradation, which is great. Both of your weapons, you only have 2 weapons, a one-handed sword, so you get sword and board, and an axe.
Yeah.
And you have
and then your bow.
And a bow. And the thing they don't give you, which they really should, is like a bird that follows you around that can attack enemies for you. There's really early on, there's like a meteor crashes way off in the distance, and the game is like, I wonder what that is. And the game should be like, go do that right now. That's your bird friend. And it does a crazy amount of damage.
Yeah. But you can unlock stuff for him too, apparently.
Yeah, I have an attack that I use. So he can make a clone of me to help with pressure plate puzzles, which of course there's a bajillion of them. He can make me turn invisible so I can do stealth attacks. It's on the Assassin's Creed Valhalla engine, the Anvil engine, which means it looks really good. And then he can just like dive bomb enemies and do not only a ton of AoE damage, but also massively increase their stun meter. So he's very useful. The thing that I think, it's going to sound weird, the thing that I think I'm enjoying the most about this game is it's easy. It is a big open world game that is not marketed towards me, and it's pretty easy, and I'm really enjoying it. You get to the top of something, you synchronize with it, it unveils the fog of war on your map, and then you do the Breath of the Wild thing, which is you hold down R3, you like look through some sort of scope, and then you're sort of panning the landscape to find shiny stuff. You pull R2 to mark it on your map. You do that a whole bunch of times, and then you go check out all that stuff. And it's just good. Like, it's one of those games where I fired it up where it's like, all right, I can't play Valhalla in front of my kid anymore. So let's go to and Legion, Watch Dogs Legion is still in a pretty rough spot. So let's fire up the third Ubisoft open world game that came out in November. And let's try this game. And I was like, all right, I'll go through the tutorial and I'll play it a little bit. And then like, I got through the tutorial in the first hour and then played like 4 more hours of it that day. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'm enjoying this one. I've played a significant amount of this over the last couple days, and I'm still in the first area, not like the little tutorial island, but the first area that I unlock is like a fifth of the map, and there's just stuff everywhere. Like everywhere you turn, there's a piece of ambrosia. You collect enough of those, your health bar goes up. There's a shrine to do. There's some guarded chest. There's a little puzzle you can do to open up epic chest. There's a checklist in the Hall of the Gods, which is your hub. So you're always kind of completing stuff on that, which gives you upgrade materials to upgrade your stuff so it does more damage, so you can do harder stuff. Like, all of this stuff feeds into each other in a really satisfying way, and it's just a blast to play, and it's not going to be my game of the year or anything, but it's just one of those ones where like, yeah, you know what? I'm just having a hell of a lot of fun playing this, and it controls well. The puzzles are cool. I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
Digging it.
Yeah, my son has shown me a lot of things, especially when you start messing with the gods and you do missions for them and you get blessings for them, which do certain things for you. But like earlier, I think it was yesterday, he showed me that he unlocked a mount that's a unicorn because he found it and he was able to tame it. And it's a level 3, so it's got like all these stamina bars, and it's just this unicorn that he can ride now.
Right, yeah, mine only have level 1. Yeah, it's like, you tame mounts by sneaking up on them and hopping on them. And then they freak out for a little bit, and then you have a mount. Like, it checks every single box that Breath of the Wild did, and then manages to pack even more stuff into a similarly sized world. And it's just a hell of a lot of fun. And it's been on super deep sale for everything. It's like $30 right now.
Yeah.
So brand new. So I bought a PS5 copy. This is my first like native PS5 game I bought. I think I bought it from Best Buy for like $40. And it's really great. I'm talking about it a lot because I feel like this is going to get looked over, where it's like, oh yeah, it's just like, yeah, their kiddie version of Assassin's Creed. And it is, and it's really good. Like, it's this like kids Assassin's Creed Breath of the Wild thing. And I can't recommend it enough so far. It's great.
Yeah.
But that
Ubisoft shouldn't have released 3 open world games within 3 weeks.
Yeah, weird. Like, 2 of their biggest tentpole releases, one of which takes an average of 100 hours to finish. The other one is still kind of unplayable. And then this third one, which I think a lot of people would look at and be like, well, it's got a real dumb name, and it does. And it looks like Breath of the Wild. It is. And maybe I won't need to play it. You should. It's really good. But yes, It's one of those things where like Ubisoft, you probably could have put it out in February, probably would have done really well.
Yeah. March, June, during the drought.
Yeah. I mean, but I do have to say, it's probably the first open world game I've played in a really long time where nothing is wrong with it. Like I haven't fell through the world. Nothing is unavailable. Like everything that's unavailable is like, oh, you need to come back here when you have more stamina, because you'll need more stamina to finish this puzzle, or like finish this archery or running puzzle or something. It's like, okay, cool. It's on my map. I'll come back to it once I get another pip or two of stamina. But yeah, go try it out. It's $30 right now, and it's well worth the $30. Go play it. It's great. That's all I've been playing. Let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of January 4th, 2021. Nothing. Let's move on to news stories. Usually, when we take our 2 weeks off here for the holiday break, literally nothing happens. Everyone's on vacation. The whole industry's largely shut down. Not 2020, though. Cyberpunk happened. So I'm going to blow through a lot of this just to touch on one really important, interesting point. Obviously, Cyberpunk came out. Reception was mixed. A lot of people loving it. A lot of people really hating it. There's CD Projekt Red has been pumping out patches like crazy. Seems to be resolving a bunch of issues every time they patch. Things are sort of heading in the right direction. There is a groundswell of unhappy customers that pretty quickly after launch start pressuring CD Projekt Red about refunds, saying this game came out, it's largely non-functional, whether it's PC or consoles. We feel like you've misled us. We would like our money back.
Okay. You're telling this the polite way. That's not how they actually talk.
Yes. You're now put that through the filter of how the internet speaks to anybody, and you probably get an idea of the actual language used. Non-TVGP appropriate language. So CD Projekt Red comes out and says, oh, yeah, we'll totally give you refunds. No problem. Talk to Microsoft and Sony about that. Microsoft and Sony were like, pardon? We were out of the office for a couple of days? Like, what do you... refunds for what? That went poorly. Both Microsoft and Sony were publicly pretty unhappy. Sony then takes the completely unprecedented approach by taking it off of the PSN store. If you're listening to this sometime in the future, Cyberpunk 2077 has been the best-selling game on every platform 6 months before its release.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how often it has been pre-ordered and pre-purchased. So, taking it off the store is, especially for a game of this profile, is a huge, massive thing for Sony to do. And which means there are no PS4 or PS5 versions because there's no discrete PS5 version out right now. So not only is Sony sort of losing their cut, they're also losing their cut of their brand new console, which has faster load times.
Yeah.
So Microsoft and Sony start giving refunds. Best Buy also is allowing physical returns of opened copies, which is also fairly unprecedented. CD Projekt Red themselves start giving refunds. If you're like getting the runaround from a bunch of other people, you fill this form and then they can go to one of silver lining here on this whole refund thing. One of the funniest thing is a lot of people learning what the word refund means, which means you don't get your money back and keep the game. They take the game too.
There's a lot of stupid people in the world.
That's how a refund works. And then, most recently, a class action lawsuit was filed. And normally it's like, yeah, a class action lawsuit. Like, whatever, you got $200, you can just do it. But this is actually from CD Projekt Red investors they're filing against CD Projekt Red, saying that they feel that CD Projekt Red has misled the public about the performance of the previous gen console versions of the game. So a lot of stuff happened for Cyberpunk while we were gone. And I'm sure that by the end of this year, when the Game of the Year edition comes out, it'll be fine. It'll have all the DLC. It'll just be like Witcher 3. It'll run fine. It'll be fine on PS4 Pro and Series X, Xbox One X. It'll be great on PS5 and Series X. It'll run fine on PC. Everyone will have largely forgotten about it, and the CD Projekt Red will do this again on Witcher 4. It's the wheel keeps on turning. But I think the only reason this is noteworthy is because Sony, I don't believe it's available on the store still.
It's still not.
Yeah, they have taken it off of the store. Last time this happened was Arkham Knight on PC, and that wasn't nearly in the state that this is in.
Yeah.
So
it's a big enough deal that my wife, who doesn't follow video games, saw an article on NPR and then got pissed because she couldn't return the game before Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I there's a part of me that does feel badly for people that were super excited about the game. If you were one of those people that were sending death threats to Liana Rupert because she had a grand mal seizure over the game, you can go join the rest of your gamergate brethren in hell. But I feel badly for people that were just like, man, I'm really looking forward to this game. They didn't like buy into the super hype cycle, and it came out and just had this laundry list of problems. I feel badly for people that in good faith were excited about it. But I know a lot of people like you, Nimp, are playing it and having fun with it. Like we were talking about it on Pup yesterday. Musum's been playing on PS4 Pro, having a blast, having crashes and the same problems, but in between that sort of stuff, having a blast with it. And I think that's really great.
Yeah, that's if you can get over early open world like Fallout 4, any of the Fallouts really,
right? Yeah.
Or just any open world jank, the game is fun.
Yeah.
Once you get past all the bad stuff, and it hasn't pulled me out of the game. It's just it should not have released this way.
Yeah.
So,
next news story. Binding of Isaac Repentance release date announced. The release date announcement trailer came out. It's coming out March 31st. That's 2021 for Steam. It's coming later to consoles. No release date announced. LOL, Nicholas. Understandably, so if you don't know that much about Binding of Isaac, the sort of the head designer, main dude behind it is Ed McMillan. He is enthusiastic about the progress his games are making and will oftentimes overestimate how far along they are. It's just a thing he does. There's no malice in it. He's just super excited about the games he's working on. It has been funny watching people on Twitter. Like, he put out this thing, is like, yeah, it's coming March 31st this year. It's $15. It's huge. Like, there's so much stuff. It could be a sequel. Like, it's really great. And everyone's sort of like side-eyeing him, like, March 31st, huh? Like, for real? And he's like, yeah, for real. Like, it's locked in. Like, we got all of it. And they're like, mm-hmm. But, like, really for real this time? Like, seriously for real? And he's like, yes, I promise. It's like, okay. I don't know, but okay. So
he's the Peter Molyneux of release dates, is what you're getting at.
Yeah, and like just like Peter Molyneux, there's no malice behind it. He just loves Binding of Isaac. Mm-hmm. He wants to share all the cool stuff. So very excited to play that on its release date, which is hopefully March 31st. And also, it is $15. It is not free. Because it's basically the Anti-Birth fan expansion mushed into this game with a whole bunch of other stuff and a bunch of changes to like the core stuff. Because he hired the programmer behind that mod. He's like, look, you like rewrote this game to put this mod in. How about I hire you to rewrite Binding of Isaac, because it's in sort of a bad spot, which, yes, you want to talk about crash bugs, Binding of Isaac has them. And it's my understanding that that dude has largely rewritten a large part of Binding of Isaac, its underlying code. And I think some people are going to be a little bit unhappy because certain things you could do in the game before that would break it. Like, if you only had one red heart left, you could still take 2 red heart devil deals. You can't do that anymore. And they're changing like blank card and other stuff where it's like, yeah, maybe you weren't supposed to be able to do that stuff before. Now we're fixing it. So
things that people were used to being able to do that they can't.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things in games where you feel like you're getting away with something. Not huge, but it's one of those things where like, all right, yeah, I got one over on the game. All right, this run's going to me, roguelike. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. And last news story here. Before we went on break, Take-Two had put in their bid to purchase Codemasters. They valued it at like 970 million USD, something like that. EA caught wind of a studio being up for sale and said, hey, wait. That's our thing. Back off, buddy. 1.2 billion. So Codemasters is going to get purchased by EA, which is a great idea for just everyone involved because EA has done fabulously with racing teams and studios in the past. So what could go wrong?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not like Take-Two would have been much better, but Take-Two probably would have just left them alone and just been like, yeah, man, you want to make another grid? Whatever. Here's a couple $100 million, whatever. Just make sure it sells. And I'm like, yeah, it will. Don't worry.
It's just that it feels like EA has almost single-handedly killed a video game genre.
Yes.
Because
they have.
Genres. Let's talk about soccer games. Let's talk about football games. Let's talk about racing games. Let's talk about golf games. They single-handedly destroyed that genre too for a long time.
Yep. Thankfully, they don't have the PGA Tour license anymore. That's over on. Well, I never remember what that team's name is.
It's they were bought by Take-Two, so they're with Take-Two now.
That's right, yeah. Because it is like 2K21 PGA Golf now. Yeah.
Yep. I'm curious if this is a revenge mode.
Super good. Oh, man. All right, that's all our news stories. Let's go on to our question this week from T-Bomb Rocks. It says, I made personal goals this year to focus on things that have been in my backlog for far too long. What are some games that have the most dust in your backlog?
Witcher 2, Witcher 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of things that like are in my backlog that I'm legitimately going to get to. Because there's stuff in my backlog. It's like,
don't doubt me.
No, I don't doubt you. I'm just saying for me, like, there's stuff in my backlog that's probably like, yeah, I'm never getting to that.
I've got Valkyria Chronicles 4 that I will beat one day, but it keeps getting pushed back because a lot of JRPGs that I play, I don't have to worry about spoilers. No one's talking about these games.
But no one's talking about Cold Steel on Twitter. Like,
if I'm going to be spoiled, I have to look for it. Right. So they keep getting pushed back.
There's a niche for those games, and you two are that niche, and that's it.
Yeah. It's like me with visual novels. It's like, no one else is playing them. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. But I think that's the only thing on my backlog that I've had the longest.
I don't have the time to go through 370-something installed games and figure out which ones I need to play. Crimson Dragon, there you go.
There you go. I feel like for me, in the list of games that I would still likely get to, Gears Tactics is pretty high up there. I'd say Ori and the Will of the Wisps, but that came out more recently than the Gears Tactics PC release. I don't really have any JRPGs on my plate right now, mostly by design. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I have a whole bunch of visual novels on my plate, like the Elite's Robotic Notes Elite Dash something. You can just jumble a bunch of words and be like, oh yeah, that game, man, with the ending. But like, just like any JRPG where it's like, oh yeah, but did you play like the first 17? Like, is this one like Minstrel of Darkness, like that really, the third one really matters. I make fun, but Ys 9 Monstrum Nox is coming out at the end of this month, so like
Yeah.
yeah.
But you don't have to play the other Ys games to play 9.
That's fair. That's fair.
I have though, so you should.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's like that isn't a lost cause, and I'm sort of drawing a blank here. I feel like I got most of the important stuff played last year. Although, special shout out to Monkey Senior. I think it was on Discord for reminding us that we forgot about Miles Morales on our games we missed list. So it's like we extra missed it. Which is a bummer because I'm looking forward to playing it. We forgot about it. I just never played it or have the time to get around to it this year. Yeah, and thankfully it's really short, so you can just kind of knock that out. But yeah.
What about beats per minute? Are you ever going to get back to that?
I'm gonna try it again if it comes to console, because
you suck.
Just
say it. You suck.
I'm very bad at it. I'm very bad at it, but it also, like, it landed for us, like, right as podcast production was ramping up for the end of the year stuff. So it's like, I could play a little bit more of this, but I have, like, tomorrow I'm recording 7 podcast episodes. So, like, there wasn't really a whole lot of time.
I said beats per minute, but it's bullets per minute, isn't it?
Bullets per minute, yeah. I knew what you meant, yeah. All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for yet another year of TVGP, our 13th year, 14th year maybe. It's been 13 years since it aired. TVGP.tv is where you can visit us, find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. Go sign up for all the cool, exclusive, early access, Critical Misses 2-month early access that we just started season 5. Recorded the first half of that today. Season 4 was really good, and we talked about it a little bit in the Outcast today. And you get early access to Critical Misses, We Roguelike It, you get the exclusive uncensored Outcast, get all the cool stuff. A lot of audio every month for just $5 a month. Game Club, Metro's 2033, which is coming up pretty quickly. Oh, boy.
Yes, it is.
And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Nimp, titles, please.
I have The Math Adds Up, Horror Game Sherpas, Stabbing Related Questions.
I put a check mark next to that one. That feels like a title.
Oh crap, I can't remember how to say this one. What was it? The Outtagonist?
Outtagonist.
Okay. It's Sean Bean, isn't it? I'm over here doom scrolling. You got tapeworms. Breath of the Waifu. And Kids Assassin's Creed.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Randos are like a box of chocolates. Probably a little bit too long. Numb Inside, Brainworm of Choice, Stabbing Related Questions, Kayfabe is Dead, Outtagonist, Learn to Raid Bro, Are the Greeks British, My Stripper Assassin, and Soundtrack in a Round.
Oh, God. I Like Watching You Suffer, Stabbing Related Questions, Outtagonist, and It's Sean Bean, isn't it? I feel like Stabbing Related Questions is the leader. That's the one that gets my vote. It's a very funny title.
I like that and Outtagonist, to be honest.
Mm.
I do like both of those as well. Oh, crap.
I would go more with I think stabbing related questions is more of a catchy title than antagonist. Because antagonist requires the...
It's definitely an eye catcher.
Yeah, I think it's better in the episode. All right.
I'm ready.
Have circled it. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. I like it. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 689 for January 4th, 2021. Stabbing-related questions.
Straight or serrated?
Pointy end first.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out with us live. There's nobody there. Thanks to Moon and Nim for hanging out with us live. It's too early in the year. Yeah. And thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. See you next week. Bye.
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 And we can finish recording.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.